All right, you guys, welcome to day 5 of the 30-day challenge. Looks like I'm already live on another device. Sorry, I was trying to go live on TikTok. Let me see if I'm live on here as well. It's saying that I am live on another device, but wait. It's saying that I'm live on another device. I don't know if it's linked up to this or not. Day 5 of the real estate challenge. All right, let's go live on here. It says I'm live on another device, but I'm gonna go live on here. Okay. All right. So welcome to day 5. Before I get started about how to qualify, I want to talk to you guys very quick before we get into how much income do you need to actually qualify for a house. We're going to go into that. But first, let's talk about the boot camp that's coming up, because all of this that is happening for the next 30 days plays into what we're going to be able to do in the 100K boot camp. This is where you're actually going to be able to build out your plan during that time. It's a 5-day event. The first day, what we will be doing is like a prep day, getting everybody set. Then the second day, I'm gonna let me share my screen with you guys. TikTok, you can't see my screen. I'm sorry, y'all. But let me share with you, because I wanted to hold on. Let's see if I can find the link. Okay. So very quickly, so on May 26th, we got the boot camp coming up. This is where you get to learn 3 strategies that will help you build your 6-figure roadmap to freedom. Now, freedom is subjective, okay? Freedom can mean you being able to quit your job. Freedom can mean you being able to shop. Freedom can mean you having extra income to pay bills. Freedom is what you want, right? And so we're going to map out that roadmap within that 5-day real estate boot camp. When I say it's a boot camp, that means every day we're going to be implementing something, doing something, right? If you follow me on my social medias, you already know I give you the tea. I don't gatekeep. And so those 5 days, I promise you, you will walk away with your own plan to be able to map out your 100K roadmap. Now, 100K isn't just an income. I'm talking about money in the bank and helping you really build out that multi-million-dollar portfolio. So the first day, we're going to explore, really go in depth about credit scores. And when I tell y'all by the end of this, you're going to know what you can apply for and start implementing immediately, okay? Day 2, we're going to go into creating your plan to build out your multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio in the next 5 years or less. Day 3, you're going to learn how to leverage your resources so you can start investing when you have little to no of your own money in as little as 90 days. And day 4 is like giveaway day awards. We'll be announcing winners. Now, please keep in mind, it is limited in terms of seating because I want to really be able to help everyone out. So make sure you grab your tickets before it is sold out. $99 for 5 days. Now, here's the thing. If you can't make it, here's the great thing. You still get the replays, okay? You get the replays. You get the daily live access to me every day, as well as being able to have the private community real estate resource workbook. When I tell y'all everything is in that book to start your plan and for you to implement your own real estate roadmap is in there. And then you also get access to the bootcamp replay and the Wealthy Family Network app. That's right, y'all. You can type in Wealthy Family Network in your Apple or Google store, baby. We are in there. Yes. So you will have access to that wherever you go on your phone or any device that you have. Now, this boot camp every day, like I said, every day for the next 5 days, I will be hand holding to help you build out your own 100K plan. Now, you don't have to stop at 100K. Okay. Keep that in mind. You can continue to build out that plan for as big as you want, but at least let us help you hit 6 figures. That's the goal here. All right. So make sure you register. It's well worth it. It's actually worth more than $99 for 5 days replay. But the biggest thing is that you have clarity and a full roadmap that you can use. A full roadmap. Okay. A customized roadmap for you. So make sure you go ahead and get your tickets because I promise you it is limited in seating so that you can be able to have my undivided attention during that time. Okay. Now, I wanted to just lock in on that very quickly. Let's go ahead and get started with today's live. Okay. Now, we're talking about how much income do you need to qualify for a house? The first thing I want to talk about, because this is the first step to my CPS method. So just like how GPS is CPS, it's your roadmap in order to get to the destination that you are looking to achieve with real estate. Okay. So the CPS is like a GPS, it's your guide to get you to where you want to go. Now, we all know in order to get where you want to go, there is a starting point. That starting point is where you are building your credibility, your capital, and everything, right? And oftentimes we want to know how much do I really need in terms of income and just capital so I can start investing. And a lot of us even just want to know how can I even just get a house, right? And so when you think about it, there's two types of ways that you can qualify for a house. You already know residential and commercial or investment, right? So these are the two ways that you're going to qualify for a house. Now, depending on your personal strategy, you may decide that, hey, I want to start with residential, which means that you may be acquiring a property as a primary, a secondary, right? Or you may say, hey, I might, whether you have a house or not, you might say, I want to start commercial, which means you're starting as an investment property, right? So these are two different types of income and capital you're going to need in order to qualify for both of these. All right. We understand that part, right? Okay. So for residential, we already know for residential, because commercial is what we mainly going to focus on. So let's talk about residential. The income you need to qualify, I hate to say it, is subjective because you can make 300,000 a year, 200,000 a year, and let's say you make 200,000 a year as a self-employed business owner. Well, they may look at your taxes, and really on your taxes, you show you only make 70,000 a year. You may have the income in terms of the business, but you really don't have the income because your taxes show otherwise, right? And so when you're going for a primary or secondary, your income is based on you. That's a simple way to put it. Your income is based on you. Now, there's different ways that you can actually acquire a property. And we were talking about it on TikTok, how you can have, so one of the questions was, how can I get a loan to buy a house without a job, right? So you don't necessarily have to have a job. You got to show income. And that income has to be consistent for at least 2 years. And it has to show that it will be consistent after you close, right? For a while. So they want to know this income is based solely on you. And this income can be different ways. It can be bank statements, right? This income can be 401k. It can be cash value policies. It can be income from dividends. I mean, the list goes on in terms of the type of income that you can be able to use to qualify to buy a primary or secondary house, right? So there's a list in the Wealthy Family Network that shows you all of the incomes that you can use to qualify if you're looking to buy a residential or primary residence, right? And so if you understand that, okay, if my strategy that I'm first using is I want to buy my own property, stay within it for a year or two, and then rent it out, just know that that income is going to be based on you. Now, this is the strategy my husband and I used when we first got our house. Now, we was buying our house because we wanted to finally have a house, right? But later on, we knew, okay, down the road, this is a potential property that we can always rent out. So anytime I'm looking for a property, if I decide to stay in it, I'm still thinking of it as an investor because I want it in a great area so I can be able to rent it out later on, right? But the income for residential is based on you. And what really affects it are going to be these things right here. Now, it's going to affect both income. It's going to affect you both on the residential and investment side, but let's go into what also affects you. Okay. So let's say you decide you're self-employed or 1099, right? There is a thing where if you're using outside of W-2 income, one of the things that they're going to look at is your expenses, right? Expenses. If you're using outside of a W-2, so they're going to want to look at bank statements, or you may use tax returns. They're going to see what is that bottom line, right? Ooh, bottom line. That's what they want to know compared to those expenses. So even my self-employed borrowers, even if you decide to go bank statement, they're still going to take anywhere from 30 to 50% of that income. And if you have partners, they're going to take another percentage of that income. And that is the income that you qualify from. So even if it's you, certain businesses, high risk businesses, they're going to take out more expenses for high risk businesses. If you have more of a consultation type business, you'll see it more on the low end, right? But the expenses is what's going to tell you what that bottom line is. Even if you decide to use asset depletion, which means all of your assets, right? They'll divide it into years, and then they will take an expense ratio off of it, and that will become your bottom line income. So that's how, if you're not using a traditional way, that they're going to be able to determine what that income is. Now, there's a couple of other things that's going to tell you whether or not or how much you can actually qualify for. So let's go into that before we're going to get to the investment part. But I think if you're using your primary residence or want to buy and take advantage of the first time home buyers or down payment assistance, or being able to get a 3% down or take the 0% down with USDA, right? Or taking the 3% down with FHA. They also have other programs that's 3.5% down, right? That's the Fannie and Freddie, right? They have those programs. So there's programs out there that if you decide, okay, I got to stay in this residence, right? You're signing those papers to say, I'm going to live here for at least a year. You're signing those papers for that, right? So we're not going to do stuff illegal, y'all. We ain't going to do that. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it by the book. So, but you can use that as your main strategy. You can literally go from house to house to house to house. And in 5 years, you done accumulated 5 properties. And you're living in the 6th one, right? And all of these have become investments within 5 years. This is something that you can be able to do. So if you've been following the challenge, you know that if your goal is to get 5 properties, because everybody don't want hundreds of properties. Everybody don't want, these big portfolios. Like, let's be real here. We just want to make enough income to live the life we want to live. Whatever that freedom is for you, whatever that means for you, right? So if y'all know my magic number, between $200 and $7,500 a month. Technically, if we think about it, that's about where our expenses are, right? So if you have 5 houses and they're all giving you $500 a month, that's $2,500. You decide to continue to work. Sorry, I was getting a call. You decide to continue to work and allow this to build up. And in 10 years, that $2,500 can now be $4,000. Right? $4,000 a month. So we're not going to go into numbers today because y'all already know how we ain't going to do that today. Go watch the other replays and you'll see how we broke down these numbers, how you can make 6 figures by using that particular strategy. But let's talk about what really affects you from getting a house. This is what really affects you, right? And this is the biggest thing that I think a lot of us face. Credit score, right? Credit score is going to determine what programs you actually can qualify for. Depending on anything under 680, and this is borderline, y'all. Borderline. Anything under there, you're going to have less programs and options. Also, you're going to pay more for your rate. And I'll show y'all what that looks like here in a little bit. Anything at 700 plus, oh yeah, plenty of options. Plenty. They want to give you the money because anything, you got to understand, the better your score, the less riskier you are. Let me say that again. The better your score, the less riskier you are to the lenders, which is why they have plenty of options for you. They're like, oh yeah, they're going to pay. Definitely. Now, I'm not saying that you are bad with money because your score is low. We have circumstances. Things happen. But this is one of the ways that it affects how much house you can actually buy. So it doesn't matter about your income, right? Because your score can knock you out of a program automatically. All right? Automatically, it can knock you out. So, you know what also affects your credit score? Debt. Debt is the reason why your score is the way it is. Debt is the reason why your score is the way it is. Car loans, credit cards. These are the 2 best but worst things that you can do. If you're building credit, somebody will tell you, go get a car loan. It will drop your score easily 20, 30, 40 points and disqualify you for a program. A credit card, you use it all the way up to your limit, I promise you will be disqualified, right? But here's the thing. You might say, well, I'm going to pay my credit cards to 30%. And we know that's the magic number, right? That's the magic number, 30%. But that monthly number, you got a credit card, let's say with a $5,000 balance. Limit, excuse me. $5,000 limit, and let's say you paid it down to 30%, right? I think that's $1,500 balance. And you're like, oh, my score is great. But guess what happens? Even though you pay that balance down, it's going to affect what is called your DTI, your debt to income ratio. It's going to affect it. Why? Because the monthly payment. Now, if it was paid off, you good. We will not count it, right? Just a little mortgage tip, insider mortgage tip. If it's only with credit cards, yeah, it doesn't matter what your balance is. We look at your monthly payment, and that's what's included into your debt to income ratio, right? So if that's included in your debt to income ratio, then you're like, well, hell, it don't matter if I pay it down, but it does matter, because if you keep it down, of course, your monthly payment is lower, which is a good thing. But if you have a balance on it, it still counts, and it affects you for how much house you can actually get if you're looking to buy as your primary residence or even your secondary residence, right? So another thing that also affects you is, and I'll move this debt part out the way, is installment loans. Right? Installment loans aren't as bad as a credit card or a car loan, but installment loans, they're still factored into anything on your credit report is factored into if you can buy a house or not. Okay. And I'm gonna tell y'all what else you may not think matters, but this does too. Collections. If you got anything in collections and it pop up on your credit report, some lenders and programs like FHA will require you to either pay that collection off or have a monthly payment set up. And guess what? That is factored into your debt to income ratio as well. I know. You know what else factors? This is a big one, and everybody knows it. We all know it, right? Whether you have it in deferment or forbearance, it doesn't matter. This right here, my friend, I promise you, will eat up your debt to income ratio. Student loans, it will eat it up. Even if you have, let's say, because some programs you can take 0.5%, right? FHA, and some conventional programs take 1% of the balance as your monthly payment, right? 1% of your balance. Now, y'all tell me, who got student loans out there? If you have student loans out there, say, Lord, help me. Because this right here can automatically, it can mess you up. It can mess you up. And so sometimes I tell my clients is, hey, if your income is low, or, you can always go and get a letter from them, even when it's in deferment, and say, hey, this is what my monthly payment will be. If it, and that is an option. So that's a free one I'm giving y'all right there. Okay. But we got to understand that these affect us on the back end, especially when we're looking to prepare to buy a primary and even a secondary, right? And so other payments are considered. So anytime you might say, well, I'm renting out my primary and I'm looking to buy a secondary. But guess what? We only factor in, this isn't me, this is by law, 75% of rental income. 75%. So you might be getting, let's say, 1,000, but we're only going to use 750 of it. I know. So all that income is not even used towards your rental payment, right? So if this is the case and you're adding up all the incomes that you have, then now I want you to consider, how am I going to position myself so that I can make sure that I am in the best position possible whenever I'm looking to buy a house? I'm sorry, I'm trying to flip my camera here. There we go. I can't flip it on TikTok. I'm sorry, I can't flip it over there. Okay, so what would be a perfect or good example of a DTI? Good question, Jay. I'm about to tell you right now, love. So for residential and commercial, residential and secondary, your debt to income ratio, you don't want it to be. So for different programs, I'm gonna tell you like this. VA is built different. If you are a soldier, I love you guys. I work with a lot of veterans. And I'm telling you, they treat their veterans, they love veterans. So with FHA, you can go as high as a 50% debt to income ratio. With conventional, you pushing it, but you can go 45 to 47%, depending on the program. USDA, 42%, right? VA is more based on income, disposable income, right? They really not looking at your DTI too much on that. They want to see that you have enough income to actually just pay for that and you have some left over. But this right here is your marker. So if you know you have a 620 and below, you're usually going to go, you got to go FHA, because these two are six. You got to be at least at a 620. So if you're at the bottom, you already scraping and going to get the worst rates. I ain't gonna say the worst rates, but you're going to pay more in what is called discount points, right? So you're going to pay more at closing to get a rate that you could possibly get with FHA, that you could possibly just pay with FHA and get a little and pay a little bit less in terms of your closing costs. With my clients, I look at all the programs and that they can qualify for, and I try to find a healthy balance depending on their needs. But this is the ratio really that you want to keep in mind whenever you're looking to buy a house. Hold on, you guys. Let me go back up. Make sure I didn't leave any comments out. All right, y'all. Hold on. So maybe I can have it like on a big screen, because y'all know, like, these glasses, they real, honey. I need them. Good question, Jay. Good question. So if you think about it, if your income is 5,000 a month, right? So Jay, let me add to that, honey, because it ain't just that. So remember, I was saying how it's all of your debts, right? That's on your I know. I gotta figure out how to flip it, Andrew, and still see the comments. So I'm gonna figure that out. Don't worry. We ain't gonna stay like this for the next 30 days. But the thing is, what's also factored in that is this. So I'm gonna give you an example, Jay. So let's say you make $6,000 a month gross, right? So lenders look at the gross income when it's W-2. And let's say you decide, okay, well, I want to do 45% of that. I'm not a mathematician. I can't do it off the top of my head. So let me just do it on a calculator. 6,000 times 42% is $2,520. That's 45%, y'all. Let me go 45%. 6,000 times 45% debt to income. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? 6,000 times 45%. I can hit the roll button, that's why. 45%. That's 2,700. Okay. So that means 2,700. That means your mortgage plus debts that's on your credit report can't go over this number if you want to do a conventional program, right? So you feel like, dang, what kind of house am I going to get for $2,700, right? You can qualify for a $300,000 house, right? Depending on your debts. And this mortgage It's going to be your principal, like it's going to be the whole mortgage payment plus your debts. So you can't go over that number. Right? So if you're thinking, okay, if I'm backtracking into this and I want to buy a house and my gross income, this is before taxes, insurance, this is W2, y'all. Taxes in before anything is taken out is $6,000 a month. Right? And then you say, okay, well, 45% of that is 2,700. If you go 50% with FHA, it's 3,000. Right? So you can't go over that with your mortgage and your debts. Does that make sense? Okay. So you can't go over that. If y'all know somebody that's looking to buy a house or a secondary house, make sure y'all share it out to them. Okay. Share this out to them so they know how much it's really going to cost for them to afford a house and they can get in position. Sometimes it may take you a year or two to save up. Let's say you might say, well, I need to get my income up. And you go and get a part-time job, but you only been working there for 6 months. I'm sorry, but the lender will not include that income. They will not include it because you haven't worked there long enough, right? They want to see that you have been in the same industry, not necessarily the same job, the same industry for 2 years, and your income is steady going up. They want to see that you're not so much of a risk, right? And this is just primary residential. I haven't even got on investment yet. And so all that plays into that, right? All that plays into how much can I really qualify to buy this house. So with the down payment assistance program, there's 2 programs, okay? 2 programs. Y'all, I don't know how to mirror this on here. And do they let y'all mirror on here? Nope. Oh, I found it, y'all. Okay, hold on. I found it. Yes. I found it. I'm so happy, y'all. I'm so happy. I've been trying to figure that out for days. I have been trying to figure out how to do this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Lord, thank you, Lord. Okay. So with the down payment assistance program, there's 2 types of programs, right? You got repayable and forgivable, right? So with repayable, that means that you're going to get a second loan, right? And you're paying a monthly payment. So that monthly payment can be anywhere from $100 to $300 plus, right? Depending on how much house you're looking to buy. Now, this can help you if you want to use this as a strategy, because now you can buy more house because now you're not factoring in a down payment. Can y'all see that? Okay. Down payment plus closing costs. When you're factoring in these 2 things, a down payment assistance program can help you out, right? So repayable means now you got an extra payment per month. And if you already know you're close to that debt to income ratio at that high limit, you may not want to, you may say, hey, well, I can't go repayable. I want to go forgivable. But here's the thing about repayable. Some of these programs, the majority of the programs is based on your income of the area, right? Your income versus the income area. So if you live in an area where, let's say, the median income is 60,000 and you make 80, then you may not qualify for forgivable, right? Because your income is too high and you have to go repayable. Some lenders, they don't care. They'll put you on a forgivable. Some lenders, they have where they'll forgive it after 6 months. Some down payment assistance program, like grant programs, expect you to be in the house for 10 years or 15 years. And if you refinance or sell, you got to pay, that lump sum amount. And so all down payment assistance programs aren't created equal, but you can still be able to leverage it in order to get in your home. And let's say you may be there for a few years. You can still be able to do that. Okay. So if you're factoring in, okay, this is how much income I make. If I go repayable, and you can look up the median income area. You know, you can go to USDA and you can find out what is the median area income, or you can go to like a down payment assistance county. Like sometimes the county will let you know what the median area income. You can just type in median area, median, right? They're looking at holistically in this area. This is where it is. Like of all the residents that work here, this is the area's income. This is where the majority of where it lies at, right? So now you know, okay, now I got to either add this in if I want to go down payment, or if I want to go forgivable, do I really qualify? Right? So all that is factored into your strategy of just buying a house. And this is why, even just thinking of it as an investment, because real estate really is an investment. If you're thinking of it as an investment, then you're going to want to buy in an area that's good, right? Worst house, best neighborhood type thing. And you may be saying, okay, well, I want to buy my primary here. This is where my income is, but this area is up and coming, right? And so in the boot camp, we show you how to really find those different areas so you can think about building out your plan and how am I going to really scale up and free myself in terms of income using real estate. So for my people that have a primary already, let's talk to you right quick. Just right quick. So if you're getting a house, and we already said 75% of your rental income is used, right? And that's when you're renting out your primary. So one of the things that I want you to consider is you're probably thinking, well, I want to use the equity in my primary in order to buy a secondary. I'm ready to move to my next step. Or you might be balling and you don't need no money for your secondary, but you want to leverage your primary, right? So you can use the equity in your home. Now, there's different strategies that I show my clients on how to use their equity in order to be able to increase their score, right? The credit score, lower your monthly debt, and still walk away with money in the bank. Because that's our goal, to build a nest egg, to build wealth. So your equity can really allow you to do those three things so you can go buy a primary. That's what we did. And we bought an investment. Let me throw that in there. Your equity can allow you to do these four things, if not even more than this. But you can really utilize what you have now to build and scale your wealth every time. But it depends on where you're staying and where you're at. That's going to actually allow for you to maximize that. Okay. It said I had a question, but I don't see it. I don't see it, y'all. If you did have a question, just drop it back in there so I can see it. Because y'all, I'll be getting into this. I love this. I've been doing this for over 10 years. Honey, I love it. So when I first started, y'all, when I first started doing mortgages, I was actually a financial manager. And we was helping veterans that was making six figures plus a year restructure their retirements so that they can be able to have $1 million portfolio that they can pass on to their family, right? We were able to restructure their home so that they can pay their home off in half the time, or in half the time, helping. And still to this day, I help my clients. I remember I had a client come to me and she was VA and she was like, girl, I'm ready to refi. She is in a 1.75%. She took advantage of that. A 1.75 VA. That's why I say you got to love VA, because man, a 1.75%. And she actually ended up saving $2,000 a month with this strategy. $2,000 a month. And she uses the pay down method, and that house is worth over 600,000 now. So she probably done paid half of it off in less than 10 years already, and saving $2,000 a month. You can't beat that. Yes, Jay. So just reach out to me, love. I'll help you out. I'll help you out. So basically, as a veteran, that's why I say I love you guys, because y'all don't understand how much you guys have well, you probably do. But so veterans are different, you guys. They're built different, which is how they are. I love working with them. And you can really leverage. So VA, let's talk about that right quick, y'all. So veterans, here's the thing about it. If you're primary, you only have a certain amount that you can use per property, right? So if your entitlement, right? This is what you get when you're looking to get your first home. They give you an entitlement. The first house, right? You're probably going to use the full amount. Your second house, they're going to give you about 25%, which means that your primary, if you're already using it, you need to get out of it so you can use it for your secondary, right? Because here's the thing. You want to have what it's called first use, second use, right? So if they know you already used it and they can pull it up in the system, then, and I had this with a client, right? We had to free up their entitlement so that they can go and buy another house. So with that, we set up a strategy. They were able to walk away with some money, and then they had 0% down, right? So VA loan, no matter where you're buying it at, 0% down payment. So you also have like your funding fees, stuff like that, that's factored into your closing costs. But your entitlement, you want to make sure you have that available if you're looking to do the once a year, buy your primary once a year strategy. Okay. So, yes, Jay is in it, girl. Real quick. So I'm going to show you. Jay, get your butt in the boot camp, girl. Let's map out your plan, girl. Let's map it out. I promise you, girl. You're going to, yes. All right. Let's talk about it. Now, we talked about this before, and we're still on residential, y'all. We ain't even talked about investments. Investments ain't going to take me long because it's simple. It's simple. It's simple. Okay. Now, here's the thing. What is considered residential? You got single family, duplex, triplex, quadruplex. Right? All of these are considered residential. Anything 5+ units, like in one building, is considered commercial after that. All these you can get with the FHA, conventional, and then VA. But here's the thing. It has to be where you live. You catch that? You have to live in one of these units as your primary. I'm going to say that again. You have to live in one of these units to make this your primary. These programs do not play. You have to be there. Right? So it doesn't matter. They'll let you buy it, but you have to be the main primary in that house. Other than that, if you're not, then you cannot use, let me take that back. You can't use FHA or a VA, right? Conventional, you guys, and this is our segue into investments now, right? Let's go. This is our segment into investments. Let's keep that up there. I'm going to keep this up here. Now, I'm going to touch on this lightly, but we're going to the boot camp a little bit more about these programs, right? So me being a mortgage broker, y'all, being an investor in a mortgage broker, I understand it from in a homeowner, right? I understand it from the outside looking in. And so I always make sure like, yo, this is the real tea. This is what you can and can't do. But if you know what you can do, then you know how you can move, right? All right. So, shoot, I said I was keeping it. Let me put it back. Triplex and then quadruplex. All right. So this is going to be a segue to the next part. So what I'm going to do here, there's two types of programs for investments, mainly. All right. Y'all ready? Now, first of all, the income for all investment properties is going to be your rental income. That's it. Your rental income, not your income at all. Your W-2 will not be counted. What you make will not be counted, right? It's going to be your renter's income. Okay? How much income do you need? You have to make sure whatever you get in covers the mortgage. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say tonight. That's it. Whatever you get, got to cover that mortgage payment. Okay? Now, here's the thing about investments. Now, I'm about to get a little technical here, y'all. So just bear with me. Bear with me, because when you understand this, because I want y'all to start thinking like investors, right? So we're not going to be consumers. We're going to be producers, right? We live in a capitalist society. So we got to be making money moves. So here's the thing. There's two types of ways that you can acquire these properties. Okay, we're not going to go into 5+ units and all of that. That's straight commercial. Okay, there's two types of programs that you can qualify to get these types of properties. We'll go more into the boot camp, but it's going to be non-QM and conventional. Okay, non-QM and conventional. So like I said, it ain't going to take me long to talk about investments, because this is about the only two programs that you can actually do for these type of properties, period. That's it. So let's go into it. I want to break down the difference between these two. All right. So we're going to put up a chart here. We're going to put up a chart. Put it up. Hey, okay. Non-QM. Let me erase this. And conventional. All right. I'm going to tell y'all a couple of differences here. Okay. Number one, they're both, I know this might sound conventional, they're both conventional. So, but the difference is non-QM means that it is outside of the parameters, it's outside of the criteria, the qualifications of a regular mortgage, like a VA, FHA, USDA. That's what non-QM means. All right. You want to know these terms because they will be on your loan applications. They will be the type of programs you're learning about. So my investors, y'all investing in yourself, know these types of programs. Y'all got me to learn it. I'm right here. All right. So these are both conventional, but this doesn't fit the same criteria as USD as the regular programs. Conventional does, right? It does. You can get a conventional loan to buy a primary, secondary, or an investment. Now they just changed the laws where you can get an investment. Y'all, you can buy an investment property for 5% down with a conventional product. I'm gonna say that again. You can buy, and this is investment wise, right? Investment 5% down. With non-QM, it's going to be anywhere from 10, depending on your score and experience and who you go to and credit and all that, 10 to 40%. You might go to a hard money lender, they might charge you more than that. So this is down payment. DP down payment. 5%. Y'all winning over here, right? You like, oh shoot. Bankhead bounce 5%. I'm with it. But here's the difference. And this is the biggest difference that I want to leave y'all with. All right. And we'll talk. And like I said, this is all about building out your strategy. And we go into how to really, navigate this, right? But non-QM, you can get a renovation budget. You winning, right? And guess how much of that renovation budget is covered? 100%. 100%. This conventional, only acquisition, which means that this property has to either already be done or you have to have some capital that will allow for you to fix this property up. So if you think about it, you're like, okay, and this is even for commercial lenders, like our hard money lenders. So we're having access to 100 lending partners. I see all type of programs, y'all, all types. They have commercial, let's just say commercial, right? You may see it known as DSCR, right? So with a commercial loan, there's all types of lenders, all types. And one of the things that they will do is give you a renovation budget. Now, not all hard money lenders will give you a renovation budget. Some of them hard money lenders will only acquire, and you still got to find the money from somewhere, right? But the majority of them will give you the budget to fix the house up. But if you want to have a strategy and you want to implement this one, right, you got to make sure your numbers are right. And that's why I always harp on knowing how to count. Because if you know how to count, you can be able to decide which one will actually be the best option for you. Because it may not always be a renovation budget, right? You may not need a renovation budget. You may just need to acquire the property. You went and put 5% down and you gone, right? But you cannot, if you're doing 5%, that means you're at 95% loan to value. Around here, you're at anywhere from, and they're not going to let you go up to no 90, but you got to have some experience, great credit score. Like you got to be up there to get that 10%. So it ain't, don't think that you can just walk in and get 10%. There are some things that lenders want to make sure are in place, and that goes back to risk. They got to make sure that's in place before they give you a 90% loan to value. Like they like, what? I don't know about that. But this house will be anywhere from 90 to 60% loan to value. This is including your renovation budget in that mortgage balance, right? So if that's the case, then you may say, hey, this property, it only needs $10,000. I don't necessarily need a renovation budget. Go conventional all day. But if you know you need to get some stuff fixed, you're going to go this route. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, your credit score is going to determine if you can actually even qualify for those programs, right? Because non-QM, most of the programs, they want to see you at a 680. And that's across the board, actually. A minimum of a 680. Minimum. So if this is your minimum and you know you're not here, then you got to think about what are those alternatives, which I'll show you in the boot camp. We break all that down. I don't want to, we ain't going to drag it. But I'll show you all of that, right? So so all of this still plays into what type of property can I really get? Okay. So like I said, if you're buying a primary or a secondary, the income is going to be dependent on you. There's different types of incomes, but it's going to be dependent on you. Your credit score is going to be dependent on you. The good thing about going into investing is that if you have the score, you can still use other people's money in order to build your portfolio. It doesn't have to be. Hold on, y'all. They got me. What is this? I'm still live. I'm on here. Okay. Okay. So it doesn't have to be your income, but where are you getting the money from? How are you building your plan? Where are you at right now? So we look deeper into that because I really want you to understand, as an investor, it's very important that you put yourself in position now, because literally in 5 years, you guys, I want to show y'all the different, if you've been, I think I showed it on TikTok, but I showed y'all the property we recently got. And then I showed, like, if you go to my page, you can see the different properties. We built our portfolio part-time, right? So building it part-time because we have other obligations, jobs, right? We had other obligations. So we decided to build our portfolio part-time. We're not like I said, everybody's not looking to build these like, we don't need 100 doors. If I don't want 100 doors, I'm not pressed about it, right? Because all that stuff you got to manage or have somebody manage. But not everybody want 100 doors. Some people just want to make enough to have freedom. But only you can decide what that freedom is and what that looks like. So I hope you take the time. Watch this replay again if you need to. But get your butt in that boot camp. I'm going to say it every day, all day. Because it's time for us to put a plan in place. You have to put a plan in place so you can make it work. You got to make it work. We don't have no other way. We're not going to sit here and depend on our job. We're not going to sit here and depend on the government. We're not going to sit here and depend on anything outside of what we can't control. What is the point in doing that? What is the point of us sitting at a job and I'm not telling you to quit your job, but if you got a job, you can leverage real estate and be sitting on enough to do any and everything you want to do. Your real estate can fund your retirement. The very strategy that I was talking about y'all earlier, you're going to learn it in the boot camp. And in the, because I want you to realize that it is accessible to you. It is doable. This is an income skill. I promise you, when you learn it, you can do it over and over and over and over again. And teach your kids how to do it. Because when they turn 18, you want them to be able to go to college. Don't worry about anything, right? And if they want to get a property, they can go and get a property and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, I just bought this property. I filled the other rooms with some other college students, and pretty much they paid the payment. Man, when I went to NC State, Wolfpack, when I was at NC State, you guys, they was renting rooms at that time. I'm going to say it was 2004. I went to NC State from 2002, class of 2006. Yeah, not 2004. It was 2008, right? I was looking at the apartments. I wanted to get an apartment near the school, right? I didn't have a mentor then that would tell me, Tashana, get a property that's near the school and rent it out. I wish I had somebody tell me that. I wish I did. I wish somebody backed me up on that and told me to move forward. Hindsight wise, right? So if I knew, like, I'm be looking for properties close to the school. Guess how much they was renting them properties out? Buy rooms. $850. And these were 3 and 4 bedroom houses. You rent out 3 of those rooms, and this is just one house. right? What is that? Y'all know I ain't doing no math in my head right now. I'm about to show y'all. $2,550 a month. Y'all, $2,550 per month. Man, you student housing, $850 a month. That was back in the day that they was paying this per room. And the thing was, some of the students was using financial aid, student loans to make this payment. Room and board, right? If you stayed on campus, I think it was more than that per month. This was a deal. So just imagine you bought a 4-bedroom house, you staying in the master, you rent out the other 3 rooms to, your friends or your college colleagues, to some college students, or rent out the whole apartment. Come on now. Don't think that you're only limited, man. Get in the boot camp. I'm going to show you some different ways you can make money. This is just one of the ways. One. It's so many different ways that even if you got, I'm just give y'all 3. You got Section 8. We already just talked about student housing. And then you got what is called corporate housing. So many other different ways that you can use income to buy a property. This ain't even your income. This is just investments. That's just 3 ways. I got plenty more. Plenty more. I hope your brain has really been like, oh, yeah, I want to do this. I can do this. You really can. But we got to put the plan in place so you can work that plan and really be able to implement it. However that strategy is. So I hope tonight sparked something in you to fuel you to decide and make a choice that today is going to be the day that you change your trajectory. You change your life. You change your mindset. You change the way that you think about how money can be made with real estate. Because the internet can only tell you but so much. It's hard to get stuff in 10 minutes, an hour. I've been doing this for over 10 years and I'm still learning the different ways. Still a student of life in this. So it doesn't end. Educating yourself for life. You got to just put yourself in that position, right? And there's some people that, hey, this 30-day challenge is enough for you. You're going to take what I have and you're going to probably run with it. Some of you are just going to sit back and watch. But the ones that know that they are made for this and this is what they need, your butt will be in that boot camp. All right. So with that, if you know you need a plan in place and you want some expert help with putting that together, then I recommend go ahead to TashanaNicole.com and get into the 100K Pay Day Bootcamp. All right, beautiful bosses. Until next time, slay every day with style.